ability to understand that he believes that she may be logged in only means that instead of her getting defensive about it, that she needs to go back and double check. How did you get that email? How did you know that the yacht club sent him a notification or that he sent out a message to the yacht club? Maybe he used an account that you have access to by accident. You should, instead of being defensive and saying, I'm not logged in, your observation would be clear that while I personally did not log into any accounts that we agreed that I'm not supposed to be logged into, if the message came across an account that I am logged into, you and I can go over the account that I seen the message in and verify that you sent the message from the correct account. Because you could be doing nothing wrong in this situation, but he got 30 different emails and he grabbed the wrong one, went to send a message to the yacht club in a hurry, and accidentally either sent out or got a response from your joint account. But you know about it. So, in this particular moment, before she continues on her rant, you've got to recognize that a misunderstanding starts off with the accusation. Now, he made the first mistake by just telling her, I don't want you logged in, log out, you shouldn't be logged in, blah, 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 blah. You are directly accusing her of being logged in. And it's a logical response because if I'm doing something with the yacht club, you know nothing, you're not supposed to know anything about it, and then you respond that you're well aware of it. Well, how did you know about that? Right? So his appropriate approach to that scenario should have been, how did you become aware of the yacht club discussion? Are you just saying I know because you understand that I told you about it before? Or are you saying I know because you've seen the message somewhere? And then if you've seen the message somewhere, where did you see the message? Was it on our joint account? Did I log into the wrong account and send this message? Or were you standing next to me when the message was being sent? How did you get the information? And that is the sleuthing that needs to be done instead of just pointing fingers. Oh, you're doing something you're not supposed to do. That's not appropriate because again, there's a clear misdirect if she's honestly not in this guy's account, right? Let's carry on and see what else is going on.
But also, I think it would be nice to have each other's locations. Not just for safety, but also think it would be cool because then I don't have to bug him with things like, where are you? When will you be home? Etc. Back
Pause. GPS used to be a fantastic tool to know where your partner is when your partner is in danger, specifically because usually when you're in danger, usually when you need help, you're panicking, you did not pay attention to every single road sign, and some scenarios, especially when you're on the highway, there isn't a road sign. There's just a mile marker if you're lucky. And if you don't remember the last mile marker that you passed, you're not near an overpass, there's no signs anywhere, you have no clue where you are. In those situations, GPS location does help. Come get me. I have a flat. My spare is gone. Come get me. I ran out of gas. I don't have the gas can in my car. Where are you? I don't know. The GPS location eliminates that. But relationships, it is a lack of trust that leads to one of the partners, either male or female, typically the female, but either one can do it. Males do it too, but females do it more. To check the GPS location to see where your partner is, whether it's out of general concern or you're just feeling insecure in the moment and you just wonder where your partner is. Now, back before the internet, back before 2009, if we were missing our partner that much that we wondered where they were, where we worried or concerned or whatever, we would just call them. And back before cell phones were highly popular, we used to just call the main line. So call their job if they're at work, ask if we can talk to them. We would call them on their lunch break. And those are the kinds of casual conversations that we would have. Well, you're not home yet. Are you working late? Do you want me to delay dinner? Stuff to that effect. What time do you think you'll be home? Those are the casual conversations that you have when you're checking up on your partner because you care, because you miss them, because you're thinking about them. Now with technology, when you're curious what they're up to, you check the GPS location. But that is a very dangerous thing because, like for example, I had this situation happen to me once. I had a car impounded. I had to go to the impound lot to get the car. The impound lot is sharing a parking lot with a strip club. So I go to the impound lot. I'm there for an hour. I had to wait in line with a few other people that were also collecting their vehicles out of the impound lot. I go back to the house. My partner is accusing me of spending a bunch of time at a nightclub that I did not even know existed. Reason being, the name of the nightclub is on the opposite side of the building than the tow yard. So when you pull into the parking lot, you have a building and then a fence and then a bunch of cars. No name on the building, no name on the tow yard, but you can see your vehicle inside the fence. You drive up to the gate and you start talking to the people that are in the gate. That's the scenario that you're in. Now, because the partner can see the GPS signal that is in the vicinity of a nightclub, she's going to automatically assume you're in that nightclub. Problem number two with those GPS trackers is if in the event that you told your partner you're going to be at a specific location, then something comes up. A friend calls you to go somewhere else. You could be at a job and then you get off early, and a buddy calls you and asks you to stop and hang out on your way back to the house. You could have been getting off from work late. Whatever changes your routine, not all the time do we feel the need to take that brief moment to notify our partner. And sending a text is the least you could do, but being able to pick up the phone and call your spouse and say, hey, I am about to leave wherever I said I was, and I'm about to go with whoever to whatever location because and I'm going to be late getting home. Plans have changed. But if you need me, send me a text message or give me a call or whatever, and I'll let you know when I get there. That way, your partner respectfully understands that your plans have changed and now you're at a new location or you're planning on being in a new location. Again, before technology was a thing, this is how we kept tabs on our partners because our partners had enough respect for us to tell us where they are and where they're about to go. Why is this important? If something happens to you in between destinations, the first place that we're going to look is your last known location. The first questions the police are going to ask: did you know where they were headed? Which was their intended destination? What clothes were they wearing? What vehicle were they in? So these are the questions you cannot answer when you are keeping secrets from your partner, whether it's your autonomy, whether it's your right to know, whatever the case may be. If I'm driving my car, then wherever my car is, you should find my body not too far away from it unless I call you and tell you that I left my car at such and such location and got into a different car, and I should be able to tell you what the make and model of that vehicle is. This gives your partner the ability to know where you are and who you're traveling with, what kind of vehicle you're in, so that if trouble occurs, you can reach out to your partner. But if this is not the dialogue that you have with your partner and all they have to go on is your GPS signal, you were supposed to be at the gym with your buddy, your GPS signal is at a local bar. You're at that local bar because your homeboy is drunk and he needs a ride home and he didn't want to call or he didn't have enough money for an Uber and you don't want him to drive home. But your partner looks at the GPS signal and swears to God that you're at the bar. These are the problems that start because instead of her understanding that your plans change and not saying anything about it, just, hey, how was your day? And then your partner being able to explain to you what their day was like, how their plans got changed, how their friend called them into some stuff that they don't want to get into, because a lot of times they have to go and do something with a buddy and they want to keep that between them and the buddy. So they might tell you, you know, minimalistically, my friend called me. I had to stop doing what I was doing and go help him for a couple of hours and then get back to what I was doing and come back to the house. Stuff to that effect. He might not tell you exactly where he went and what he was doing, but when he wasn't where he said he was, that's because he got called away, not because he was deliberately doing something deceitful. But that's not the kind of relationships we have. We got the kind of relationships I thought you was going to be at such and such, or they'll hit you with how was the bar because they know. And one of the things that I personally hate, and I know a lot of men dislike this, ladies, 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 do not ask your man a question that you already know the answer to. It is a conflictual, combative way to destroy your relationship and destroy your trust. Because when you walk up to your boyfriend or your husband and you're asking him a question that you already know the answer to, you're only doing that to test him to see if he is going to lie to you because you already know the facts behind the situation, or at least you think you do. And then if his answer is not what you want it to be, you're gonna get mad and you're gonna take off on him. You're gonna start yelling at him and cussing at him, accusing him. You're gonna lose faith in him. You're gonna lose trust in him, and he is now on the defensive, trying to prove to you that he has done nothing wrong because whatever information that you've gathered about his situation that you were not a first person party to is not accurate to what really went down. And always being on that defensive end, having a spotlight shined in your face, and you're being interrogated like a criminal every time you leave the house is going to damage the relationship and cause your partner to either act out by cheating because you're accusing him of doing so, or break up with you because he doesn't like being treated like he's doing something wrong. So I'm going to tell you, like she's saying, she would like to know where he's at. Well, sweetheart, if you want to know where he's at, go with him. That's how you solve that problem. You don't got to call him and ask him where he's at and what he's doing and who he's with if you're there with him. So if he ain't at work and you want to spend time with him, you can simply call him and you're gonna have to ask him that question. Where are you? He's gonna say why? Because I want to come and hang out with you while you're doing what you're doing. Straight up. That's it. Now if he's okay with that, he'll tell you, this is where I am. I'll see you when you get here. He might tell you where he's at and say, I'd prefer that you stay at home. Either way it goes, you know where he's at. But you're not just stalking him for the sake of. All right, let's go ahead and
Back
continue.
to the story. He answered my call, then repeated what he said in the text, adding in that it's about privacy and he should have his privacy. I responded by telling him that according to John Gottman, husband introduced me to the Gottmans and all their stuff in regards to relationships. Privacy in a marriage doesn't exist in the way he thinks it does. That was he's demanding isn't privacy, it's secrecy. I also told him that this big concern he has really freaks me out. It makes me wonder if Rare is something shady going on. He responded by telling he doesn't care about that shit and that this is how he feels and this is how it's going to be. I asked, what about how it makes me feel? It scares me and there shouldn't be anything in there that I can't see. He started getting
Pause. Her insecurity is going to destroy this relationship. When he got on the phone and he explained to her that his expectation for the levels of privacy is his expectations for a level of privacy, her devaluing his expectations by referring to a book, a famous speaker, somebody who wrote a book about relationships and marriage and everything like that, is not a valid defense because you are still combating his request to further emphasize your respect of his right to privacy, his expectation for privacy, even if his expectation for privacy is a level of secrecy. People are going to say that relationships should not have secrets, but they do. There are things you don't tell your partner because you don't want to upset them. You don't want them mad. You don't want them crying. You definitely don't want them yelling, cursing you out, and throwing stuff. And you try your best to fix certain situations without letting your partner know. Both men and women do this. Men do this more often than women because men are usually the ones that are blamed when things go wrong in a relationship. So the men typically try to fix it without her knowing about it so that she can live a less stressful life. Women do this, but women don't do this as much as men do. So when a woman wants to know everything, she wants to put herself on the front lines of having the knowledge of stress, of
Angry,
which
then said FKU.
she is not supposed to have. And that's going to be an issue that she has to understand. So now he's cursing her out. So that's what we just heard. He's cursing her out because she's not respecting his wishes. And there's a difference between her being right and her being respectful. Because while yes, he is requesting a specific level of privacy that is in the realm of secrecy, she should respect that and not challenge it. She's now talking about her feelings and how insecure she feels about not knowing what's going on because she believes that she should be able to have full access to everything. I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Having full access to all of the information about your partner is a very volatile situation. You need to know enough about your partner to be able to count on them and to be able to predict their movements to a magnitude where you can come to their aid when they need it and you know that they will come to your aid when you need it. When you know all of the deepest, darkest secrets of your partner, it changes the way you think about it. The person you fell in love with is not the person you're married to or dating right now because your opinion of them is based off of what you know about them. So anything that negative that did not come out at the beginning of the relationship that you are private investigating is going to be information that you yourself must not condemn him for. Because once you find out the dark past that your partner was trying to keep a secret, you will change how you feel about your partner. So this happens to men too, because you got guys that don't know what's going on with his girl's past, and then he digs too deep and finds out that she might have been an exotic dancer. Might change the way he thinks about her. You know, a guy that now is an executive, but deep dark secret in his past, he might have been a drug dealer. Change the way you think about it. A single woman right now that doesn't have any children in her possession, but when she was 16, she had two kids. Change the way you think about it. A guy right now that doesn't have any kids in his possession, but you find out that he has three kids for three different women. Change the way you think about it. The fact is, if you dig for information that does not impact the relationship, you are going to find things that will destroy the relationship because what you have is based off of what you know. And what you don't know can sometimes hurt you more than what you know. Knowledge is power, but that is a double edged sword. So let's continue on.
And FK this and hung up. I sent a message saying how hurt I was by his words and actions. It's been 2.5 hours and he said nothing to me. I wouldn't care one bit if my email was logged into his phone. In fact, it was for several years, so he could access an app we use at home that was tied to my email account. He has a porn addiction. I only found out after we had our first child together, but he knew from the start how I felt about porn and that I didn't want porn in my relationship.
Oh
So I
boy.
just assume it's in regards to that even though he swears up and down that he's stopped. In addition to the porn, he's also an alcoholic drinking. There was a situation a few days ago that also has me pondering
He
possibilities.
said
We were
it. Pause. You and I both hit the oh God at the same time, Mike. Because I'm looking at this shit like, so do I. What's the problem? Okay, so the problem that she got is that her ass is logged into some of his stuff and he told her not to do that. And she's trying to defend the situation and swear up and down that she ain't did nothing wrong, that it's all his fault. And I'm sitting over here looking at this woman like you are stretching this out, but really and truly, you logged into something that you're not supposed to be in because you got a message from his yacht club and you're not supposed to know about his yacht club. So if you're receiving information from a source that you're not supposed to be in contact with, you've got access to something you're not supposed to have access to. And that's something that she's beating around the bush with. But now she wants to devalue the guy and talk about his porn addiction. His porn addiction has got nothing to do with her being logged in to whatever email that's getting messages from his yacht club. His anger and his problem is that he's communicating with his yacht club. She knows about his emails, which means all other emails that are related to that yacht club email is emails that she has access to, and she's not supposed to have access to those. She and him have an understanding in this relationship that they're not supposed to have unauthorized access to each other's personal stuff. So whatever he got going on, whether it's a World of Warcraft subscription, Pornhub subscription, whatever the case may be, that ain't got none of her business because the exclusivity of knowledge is limited to what is accessed in the joint accounts. So if it is not in a joint account, she's not supposed to know about it. But she over here trying to make the man look bad because she bitter about the fact that he put her in her place and cursed her out about the fact that she was on one of the emails that she wasn't supposed to be on, where all she had to do was say, I wasn't aware that it was logged in. My apologies for not making sure that was rectified, but I'm going to fix it now and make sure that all devices that I control are logged out of that email. That way, I don't receive any more communication from the email source that I'm not supposed to get messages from. That's all she had to say. But she over here talking about GPS signals and porn addictions and all this, that, and the other, but she's not taking responsibility for the fact that she obtained knowledge about something that was agreed upon by her that she's not supposed to know anything about. That's the biggest problem. Is that so he can go through her phone since he's paying for it. She is gonna be one of those people that's like, oh yeah, you could go through my phone so that I have an excuse to go through your phone. Truth is that regardless of whether or not he pays for her phone is like a private diary. Her phone is the most personal part of herself. The same way his phone is the most personal part of his self. Your entire life, for the life of the time that you've had the phone, all of your emails, text messages, notes, messages, personal notations, everything is in that phone. The most deepest, darkest information about you is in that phone. She's not supposed to go with it. She's not supposed to go into it. He's not supposed to go into it. If she wants to show him something out of the phone, she can volunteer that, but he should not ask for it. And vice versa. If there's something in the phone that he wants her to know about, he can tell her about it or show her about it. And now she's aware of it because he informed her, but she's not supposed to ask about it. Voluntary information is given in transparency. Subpoenaing or requesting the information, that you're sleuthing, you're digging. And when you do that, you're going to find problems because not all the time do you like the response. And very few people accept the answers to the questions when the answers are negative. So it is not a good idea to be in the type of relationship where your partner is clearly not okay with you having unauthorized information. Soon as if she knew that he was getting contacts from a yacht club and he talks to her about that, she is not supposed to co-sign on the fact that she know about it because one, he don't want her to know about that. And two, if she's following the communication laws, just like a private investigator, you don't tell somebody that you're getting their communications if you're tapping into their communications. The police don't tell you that they wiretapped all of your electronic devices. They're just listening into your conversation until you say too many things that lead them to opening up an investigation that has a search warrant of your house. They don't tell you that they tapped in. So if she tapped in, she could have just kept that shit to herself. But her confirming with him that she was tapped in, that's what started the conversation. He said, all the information about you is in that phone, only shared between me and the government. That's right, because the government gonna take your shit whether you want to or not. When they be doing that data dump, the data dump they just did a minute ago. That's why I don't have nothing of value on this computer because they do a data dump. I be seeing stuff pop up on this computer. I already know this computer compromised. Anything that I'm gonna do that might be remotely considered to be less than legal, not doing it on this computer. Cause I don't want nobody to wiretap it, pull it out of the save file, grab it off the hard drive, and now they got access to it. No, not doing that. But likewise, if you can trust her to keep a secret, you can trust her not to talk about it, even with you. So if she knew about the yacht club situation, she shouldn't have said nothing. Because if you could tell me that you know about the yacht club situation, you could tell somebody else that you know about the yacht club situation. Which means if you could tell me that you know about the body buried in the garage, you could tell somebody else that you know about the body buried in the garage. Which means that person could tell the right person that there's a body buried in the garage, and now I've got an excavating team with a search warrant digging up the garage because you talk too much. That's the biggest problem here. But she over here talking about his porn addiction.
Texting,
Let's
I
go
asked
here.
him to pick me up a lighter, and he responded with 1K. Not okay, not ick, 1K. I read it
He,
as $1,000.
no, he sent you 1K like I and she over here taking it out of
I
control.
replied 1K and no response. By this time, he had gone much longer than I thought he would be, and no reply to the text, so I called him. I asked 2 questions. What are you doing? He said, driving home. I said, oh, well, what you're buying? He immediately became frustrated and asked me, what are you tracking me? I then asked a third question. What does 1K mean? And he lost it, saying I was being untrusting and that my questions made no sense. It wasn't until he got home that he stated it was a typo. The whole situation just left me feeling.
Oh, do you see? Do you see? Do you see? Do you see how to break down in communication? She's taking it too far. She's taking it too far. It's taking him too long. He caught traffic. He trying to get home. He texting and driving, and he ain't sent stuff correctly. But he trying to let you know that he gonna get you the crap you said get. You over here asking him all of this other sideways ass questions about some shit. You could have just left the man alone. Could have just left him alone. Let him do his thing. I'll talk to you about the email thing when we get back to the house and just squash the whole thing. But she just tripping. Is 1K $1,000? No, 1K is okay. But if you're trying to text and drive, you probably was reaching for the O because you over here with one hand on the steering wheel and the other hand on the phone, and you doing this over here, and you pushed 2 buttons, thought you pushed OK and pushed 1K, and it could have been the T9 auto text filler thing that switched OK to 1K, and because that's something that he normally uses when he's texting other people somewhere, and then it sent it to her because he wasn't proofreading his text messages while he's texting and driving. He could have swerved in a situation where he almost missed the car because he over here texting and driving and realized that he gonna have to deal with her ass when he get home. So now he not responding to her anymore. She getting offended because he ain't responding to the text messages and shit because she over here wearing the damn nerves while he trying to get home. If he would have died in a car crash because she was over here blowing up his phone while he was driving back to the house, she would have blamed herself and she would have been rightfully correct about that because instead of her just letting him know straight up off the bat, see, look, see that right there? Okay, could have been 1K with a thumb up, and we'd be like $1,000. But all she had to do was just leave it alone. All she had to do was just apologize for for obtaining knowledge that she wasn't supposed to obtain, and make sure that she proactively makes sure that she is removed from any communication logs that she is not supposed to get. That's all she had to say. But never did she take responsibility for obtaining the knowledge that she's not supposed to have. She's just defensive about everything. But we recognize, I had to look at this 7 minutes into the conversation, that she has by far been involved in a misunderstanding this entire time. Let's continue. She almost done.
Icky. His reaction screamed guilt, like he was caught doing something he shouldn't have. Back in June, he let
That's not guilt. He feels bad because he was pissed off at her off a misunderstanding. And she's gonna sit over here thinking, oh, he did something bad. Technically, he did do something bad. He cussed your ass out because of a misunderstanding. That's not supposed to happen. You should not be cursing at your spouse. You should not have to curse at all. But if you're gonna curse, you're not supposed to be cursing directly at your spouse. F you and calling each other B's and H's and all this other. Y'all should not have that kind of dialogue between one another. And he should feel bad for talking to you that way when it was a misunderstanding, but not the guilt that she's talking about. She's saying, oh, he feel guilty like he was caught doing something he had no business doing out in the street with somebody else. No, he feel bad that he talked to you like shit because y'all had a lapse in communication while he was driving home.
me use his phone to send myself pictures. I opened WhatsApp to send them to myself from his phone, and right there staring at me was a single message from some woman. The message, just a red heart.
Hold on. This is some dirty ass bullshit. Why are you using his phone to send your phone pictures of yourself? That right there is a red flag for me. Because if I got a S24, you got the S25. If I got the iPhone 14, you got the iPhone 16. So there is no reason why your phone better than mine should you be using my phone to take pictures of your ass to send to your ass. That's it. That's it, hands down. That's an excuse to go through my shit. Because in all reality, if you want photos of yourself, you should be able to use your phone to selfie yourself voguing. You don't need my phone for that. Because most men will do for their woman before they do for themselves. So I will upgrade your phone before I upgrade mine. He's just staring at me. And no, it's gonna be 8,008 5. Remember how we used to do that on the calculator? 80085 and turn it upside down and it look like boobs. Oh boy.
Emoji. I immediately started shaking and crying. I asked him about
Okay.
it, and he initially said he didn't know who it was.
Pause. So she using the excuse that she's taking photos of herself and sending it to her own phone so that she can go through his WhatsApp because his WhatsApp might be one of his dominant sources of communication outside of his regular communication message apps. She in the WhatsApp instead of just being directly connected to her own individual phone, taking whatever photo she gonna take and sending it to herself. She is in the communication logs, observing other communications from individuals that he do not need to know exist in that app because you can receive a message from somebody without having to respond to it. You feel me? What's everyone's thoughts? Is she a keeper? Hell no, she ain't no keeper. I ain't even got to how you need to kick this bitch to the curb. This is some bullshit. Hell no, she ain't no keeper. A keeper would not be having this kind of breakdown in communication. She would have seen the heart emoji. She might have would have even pushed a button to see if I would have sent something to it, and then would have come to find out that we don't even got no communication on there. And then she would have just backed away from that shit and not said nothing because your ass not supposed to be on my phone taking selfies of yourself when we just spent 25 minutes of this conversation discussing about how he made it clear to her that his privacy is important to him and she's not supposed to get no information about him from his devices and from his communication logs that he didn't authorize her to have. So if we have that understanding and now we're halfway through her conversation or three-quarters of the way through her conversation and now she's admitting that she's backdoor snooping on this man, making excuses to snoop on this man, and she finds stuff that she don't want to see. How would you keep her react? How would a keeper react? A keeper I'm explaining it to you. That's so good. I'm answering that question. I'm explaining it to you. If for some reason I give a keeper access to my privacy, she not gonna talk about it with me, and she ain't gonna talk about it with nobody else. She sees something that she don't like, she don't say nothing, she don't switch out about it. She should not be touching things that is outside of the reason why she got access. If I gave her access to my cell phone and my cell phone is the remote to the Netflix on the TV, the only reason why you own my phone is so that you can change the channel on Netflix. If you use the fact that my phone is unlocked to go through my text messages, my emails, my Google search engine history and stuff, you snoop it. If you find out something that you don't like, keep it to yourself and don't change out, because that full transparency that you just stole without my knowledge or consent is supposed to be no judgment, no resentment, and no reaction. So now that you know what's in the deepest, darkest areas of my phone, because I trusted you to not go looking for that, I should trust you to not talk to me about it neither. But if you go in there and you find some shit, and then you come and ask me about it, you have violated that trust. Because if I wanted you to know about that, I would have told you about it. I should not have to delete it to hide it from you. It should be there because it's there. And if it's not, if it's there just taking up data space, when I go to purge my phone to make space for new things, that is going to be one of the things I delete because I don't value that. But if you see it before I delete it because it wasn't relevant to me, but you make it relevant to you, and then you make it relevant enough to you that you're going to start a conversation with me about it. Now I have to defend why that's on my phone. That was none of your fucking business. It's not supposed to be for us to talk about. That is why she's not valuable. He says, "I like it when you pick your when you pick your nose outside of the box." We gotta take, sometimes we gotta go out, we gotta go outside the box, and we gotta do stuff a little bit different. Yeah, that's extremely whack because she over here
Then,
tripping.
when I said I wanted to contact the number, he told me it was an old friend that he hasn't talked to in years.
Now look at that. She on his phone using her excuse of taking pictures of herself to go through his communication so that she could find some chick, and now she wants to call that chick. Now, wasn't she just supposed to be on his phone? Now, we already understand the communication is supposed to be private. We already understand that with that privacy, that she's not supposed to be looking for nothing nowhere, because that's how their argument started. Him cussing her out and everything like that. Now, she then did all of this devaluing the dude, and now here she is. Let's call her and see who she is. Why? You wasn't supposed to be going through my communication logs anyway. You were only supposed to be taking a photo. And if you're only supposed to be taking a photo and you start going through my communication logs, you're losing my trust because we had an agreement between each other. He said, "Why is she using his phone?" Because she petty. She better be a nine. She they don't get no better than a nine, because if they're a 10, they're a lie, because everybody got a flaw. She ain't no nine, because if she was a nine, she would have the confidence to not have to use the excuse. I'm taking pictures of myself and sending it to myself. No, you using that as an excuse to troll his phone and find information. Now she about to start an argument. We about to get into it, but she busts out with some, uh he said that that's a old friend from way back when. It could be his ex baby mama from 10 years ago. It ain't none of your damn business, because you ain't supposed to be in the phone looking for that. You were supposed to be taking a picture of yourself and sending it to yourself instead of taking a damn picture on your own damn phone. After we just finished fighting on my way home from work about you knowing about the damn yacht club. The yacht club is a group affair, a members only group affair. That ain't got nothing to do with cheating on you. And I was pissed off at you about knowing about the yacht club. You going through my phone and finding out about another woman? Oh yeah, that's a fight.
He refused to give me the number, stating she was on the East Coast and
Yeah,
calling would wake her and he wouldn't let me do that. We argued for over an hour about this and he eventually gave me the
see,
number. I called the number from
see,
my phone. No answer.
hold up. She broke him. She broke him. So she fought him down. This is why the man had the standard. Your information is your information. My information is my information, and joint information is for the relationship. She then broke the man down, so she then already treated him like garbage already, and then she broke him down so that he could give her the number, so that she could call this chick. And him trying to keep from losing the relationship when he should have just let the relationship go. He should have just said, "No, that's all right. Pack up your stuff and get the fuck out of my house," because she violated the trust by snooping for the information. But she done turned around and went straight on into, yeah, damn right, he a weak man because she was straight. He went from standing on his non-negotiables about her not getting un solicited information to defending himself about the information that she'd have found. No, I'm not talking to you about that, ma'am. At the end of the day, if you wasn't supposed to know about it, you're not supposed to know about it. Now that you've found out about it, you're not getting her number. You're not going to contact her. And if you don't like it, you can get out because I told you that we're not doing that. We agreed that she wasn't going to do that. And this is why we agreed because we're not supposed to be fighting about that, but we're fighting about it. He said she would have been gone. She would have been long gone, bro. She would have been gone. She would have been gone from the yacht club conversation, from the phone call while I'm driving the car. She would have been gone. By the time we got to this part where her talking to me about some chick, she would have been long gone, bro.
She called back. I missed it and Ahe left a voicemail for my husband. Sing Sanji. Sweet. Hey, it's me. Call me back. I then texted, this is XXXX's wife. Just trying to figure out why another woman is sending him a heart emoji. Doesn't seem appropriate. And the woman texted back saying, it's an emoji to a friend I grew up with and haven't talked to in years. Absolutely no harm was meant.
There you go. Stop being a bitch.
It's not appropriate to insinuate that it is anything more and then either pose as someone else or read their messages and
Agreed. Preach. One woman with sense out of the two.
then contact someone you don't know. Do not contact me again. If you don't want him to talk to old friends that are female, you do you. All the best. My husband has remained pissed off at me over the situation.
Amen. He should. Now you got 84,000 people pissed at you about it right now because everybody watching this is like, man, this woman throwed off because that was just too much insecurity. She should have just left it
Saying that I
alone.
handled it all wrong and told me I have to accept he had a life before me and friendships before me. That's
Damn right.
fine. I do and I am friends with many of his male and female friends, but Eve never met this woman except a 5-minute hello almost 8 years ago.
But if it was 8 years ago, bitch, it's 8 years ago. So if she sent him a message, a heart emoji, like a "I miss you, you still in my heart," kind of homeboy from way back when kind of thing from 8 years ago, leave that shit alone. See, this is why the man had rules, and she wasn't following them damn rules. She would have been gone. He over here mad at her. I ain't mad at her. I'm packing up all her shit.
She's not a part of his life as far as I know, so the whole thing just never sat well within my heart/gut. A little about me. I've been cheated on or violated by every man I've been with starting with my first love.
All right, that's the problem. So it took us all this time to get down to the core problem. She is emotionally damaged from repetitive bad choices in relationships that led to affairs where she got cheated on and then she left that guy. As a result, she is now with a new guy where she has not recovered from those bad choices and she has not recovered from the trauma from those bad relationships. And she is taking out that trauma on her current relationship. Her lack of trust, her worry, her insecurities all gets imposed on this new guy. And then his structure, where he may have been in bad relationships, where women have falsely accused him of doing things and started arguments with him over information that they found in his phone and in his emails from the past, led him to set a standard in the current relationship. Don't go through my stuff. Don't go through my emails. Don't go through my text messages. Don't go through my phone. Do not go through any communication logs that I did not give you so that we don't have this type of fight, right? Now, she violated that. She gone. The
Whom I
relationship
dated
did.
from 16 to 19 years old. Found out on my 18th birthday about the girls he'd been with, and my best friend at the time knew all along. My first husband told people he cheated on me, but always denied it to my face. He had multiple emotional affairs throughout our marriage. My dad has cheated on my mom many times and also has a porn addiction. I know that I have deep trust issues.
Oh boy. Okay. So you are the product of your environment. We've had this talk on the show before. Remember, Michael, when I said that you typically find yourself in the type of relationships that you're familiar with, not because they're healthy for you, but because you're familiar with them. So she has dated men that has behaved like her parents, and that's why her negative toxic relationship from her childhood was the negative toxic relationships that she sought out in her adulthood, and now she's in what could be a good relationship, and she is a product of a lifetime of negative environment. Extremely comfortable. She was extremely comfortable with chaos. So now she misrepresenting chaos. But now on in all fairness, I don't care if I have a female friend that is a platonic female friend that I have not that from my childhood or something like that from college, and she reached out to me. If she still got my phone number, I would have communication with somebody like that. But an old fling, an ex, if it was a female friend that I actually got physical with, she would not have my communication. We would not be talking to one another after that. After that one night stand or that friends with benefits situation resolved itself, we don't communicate no more after that. So my current romantic partner would not be concerned by a person from my past reaching out to me because it's not likely that a female would reach out to me unless it would be a child or something like that that belonged to me or my sister or auntie or another female that I'm related to. If it's not a female in my life that I'm related to, it wouldn't be a female that I've been involved with. Because what some men typically do is burn those bridges and don't go back. And that makes more sense.
And I also know my current husband has contributed to them, but he doesn't feel like he has. I've always been honest about my past and my trust issues. I've gone to therapy and am constantly working on that part of me. But
You
at
ain't
this
going to
point,
enough
I'm
therapy.
starting to think maybe I am crazy. Maybe I am the
Yes, yes, girl. Yes, girl, you crazy as fuck. Yes, girl, you are the problem.
problem. Maybe I'm making things up in my head and there is absolutely nothing weird about his behavior.
Exactly, girl. That's the stuff that you need to think about.
But my gut is telling me there's more. I'd really love any and all input or advice. Yes, there are kids. Four. Two from my previous marriage and two with him.
All right, see, now that's the reason why the man is trying to put up with your bullshit because at least two of them damn chillings is his, and he don't want to have to go on child support and not get to see his kids because you bitter. You need to stop, woman. You got a whole family with this man. You need to leave that man alone with his privacy and grow up and be more confident about the fact that you chose somebody that chose to stay with you. You need to choose to not look for reasons to get you out. No, he ain't got to be unemployed. No, he raising her ex husband's kids. You know what I'm saying? So he just stepped up. This man taking care of four kids and two of them not his. She should be grateful. He's not beating her ass. He not doing nothing different other than going to work and coming back to the house. And she over here wilding.
Last year, I was in a horrific car accident with all four leaving my oldest in a coma with a severe traumatic brain injury. She's doing extremely well
Mm,
now. Far better than anyone anticipated given her injuries. 6 months after the accident, same child was targeted on
yeah, probably
Roblox.
so.
We have an FBI case going and she's in therapy. We have gone to counseling and it did help in
Wow.
some ways, but often it feels like he uses their framework to his advantage while twisting it to avoid accountability. His use of the
How?
words, I'm sorry, is minimal and usually followed by the word, but we discontinued counseling because of the cost. He lied about porn use, saying that wasn't him. He wasn't into that. It wasn't until after our first was born and we were already married that I found out the truth while in couples counseling. He sails for several months at a time. So at first, I just asked that he stop using it at home. He would wait until I went to work at 9:30 p.m. to do his own thing, but wasn't intimate with me or couldn't perform. Hence why I asked him to
Because you get on his
stop.
fucking nerves.
He agreed to it, saying he understood, but still hasn't stopped. Just leave, but how? We have 4 children, 4 dogs, chickens, cats, and a large property. I run a successful business with.
All right, hold on. So we could cook the chickens, split the dogs, split the children, sell the property. What about the cats? They'll figure it out. Just leave them.
But I certainly don't make enough to afford a home for myself and 4 kids. I know I can physically care for everything on my own because I do it all the time while he's at sea. But financially, it's not feasible where we live. Rent for even a 3 bedroom is $4,000 plus. Can't move away slash out of state as my older children don't deserve to be taken away from their father. We got married at
Hold on. So what you could do is you could send your 2 kids to your ex-husband, leave your other 2 kids with your about to be ex-husband, and then take your behind somewhere else. That'll solve everybody's problem.
20 and divorced at 29. He wasn't a good husband or an active father, but now he's very involved and we have an amazing co-parenting relationship. My husband,
Mhm.
despite his poor treatment of me and his addictions, is in fact a good dad. He's involved.
See that? He is not a bad dude. You just treating him like a bad dude, and he is not attracted to your negative behavior. And that's the reason why he is out there satisfying himself somewhere else instead of cheating on you with someone else. She over here complaining about his porn addiction. Ma'am, how would you feel if his porn addiction was him actually having affairs with other women out in the street? You need to be appreciative of the fact that this man's self preservation tactics is allowing him to stay consistent with your negativity and your extreme insecurity that is damaging this relationship so heavily.
He plays with them, takes them on outings, does school drop-offs and pickups most days, cooks, cleans, has always changed diapers and taken part in bedtime, baths, and DR apps. He clearly loves his children and mine. Someone suggested that I'm trying to change him. I'm not. I'm simply asking him to hear me. I'm asking him to care enough about me to not do things that hurt me. Things like porn use and saying F you. I do
But why is you not doing things that he asked you to do to not hurt him? Like not be snooping through his communication logs and finding females that don't even like him so that you can call these people up and harass them simply because they sent him a heart emoji from 8 years ago. Why aren't you reciprocating on your expectations? You want him to treat you a certain way, he wants you to treat him a certain way, but you don't respect his wishes, but you want him to respect yours. Why is that? Mutual respect. Y'all don't have to have the exact same terms. But if you agree that you want to be treated a certain way, that's your terms and conditions, and he has expectations that he agreed that he wants you to treat him a certain way, and you're supposed to reciprocate on that. So why is you in a position where you're fussing and arguing and cussing at him because you snooping when he asked you not to, and you was wrong. You didn't even apologize for it. Then you want him to be all romantic and intimate with you. He don't want to have nothing to do with you, but he ain't gonna leave you though. Make that make sense.
believe I deserve to be validated in my pain, and I deserve to have
I
a
don't.
partner that cares how his actions affect me.
I believe that you should be validated to the magnitude of mutuality. I believe that you need to validate your partner's pain, the drama that you just put him through, and the chaos that you started unnecessarily. I believe that you need to take accountability for the negativity that you're bringing into your relationship. And then instead of forcing him to recognize pain that you are causing for yourself, because self trauma is a complex level of PTSD. And you can cause your own trauma. That man don't need to traumatize you. You over here panicking because he's taking too long to respond to your communication because he's driving home. You over here flipping out on him about mistyped text messages because he's texting and driving. to get home to you. You over here acting a fool on him because you're snooping through his phone, using his phone to take pictures to send to your phone where you could just use your phone to take pictures of yourself on your phone. What is your problem? Because even if you wanted him to have the photo, you could take the photo on your phone and send it to his phone. You don't need to be in his stuff. Ladies, when y'all go through people's stuff, y'all be causing chaos, and then y'all don't even apologize for the chaos that y'all caused. And once you realize it was a misunderstanding, carry on. Females work from a point of emotions, while guys are more logical in most cases. You're right. You're right. That is the thing.
The alcohol.
Look,
He knows he has
she over here. Look, now she's about to go into the alcohol. She playing the victim here. When this conversation originally started, she was upset that her man cussed her out because she was going through his stuff and she was getting information about him that he did not want her to have. When they had a mutual agreement that they're not supposed to share this, share it. She's not supposed to be exposed to information that he doesn't voluntarily share to her to prevent these type of arguments from happening. We remember to like and subscribe and join the membership if you can. Now she'd have gone through all of this to lead to the point where now she admitting that she's wrong, but without admitting that she's wrong and apologizing for it, now she's gonna start talking about, oh, he's an alcoholic now. He could have been, but you know what? You got problems when you start them. But if y'all been in a relationship, y'all got two kids, that means that y'all have been together more than 2 years. At least 3, if not 4 years, y'all done been together. He been taking care of your two kids from your other relationship, which means them chillins got to be 7 to 8 years old. So he got two young adults in his house and two chillins in his house, and you are sabotaging this relationship before it could get great. That makes no sense.
a problem, but refuses to go to AA because it's not for him. I've stopped drinking with him and have even bought little sobriety chips to encourage him when he does make an attempt to stop. ID write a sweet letter and include the chip. It seemed to
Mm.
mean a lot to him, but then he'd start drinking again. He only gets mean when he's been drinking. Of course we've argued when he's sober, but it's never turned to name calling or FUs unless he's drunk. I am honestly not convinced he's physically cheating, but I do believe he's hiding something. Money troubles? Paid porn, or maybe. I don't know. But I do know I wouldn't feel this way if he reacted with less defense. Freaking out at the thought of me being in his emails is beyond alarming.
Hold on. Okay, so I got another problem with her because first off, if he don't want you to know, it's none of your damn business. Second of all, the fact that when you went through his phone and you found just a little heart emoji from somebody from way back when, from 8 years ago, you was calling this woman and challenging this woman as to why this woman is over here uh 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 texting her friend from 8 years ago. So that's a perfect reason for him not to want you to know about none of his communication logs because you take it and blow it out of proportion. And he's trying to minimize arguments. So I completely agree with him on that. And like Michael said, I'd be drinking too if I live with her. Yeah, you damn right. I would be drinking up a storm if I was living with this woman because that type of frustration is going to be self-medicated. If you ain't smoking some weed to calm down behind that bullshit, you drinking or you playing video games, or you out at the bar with your homeboys about how your wife had tripped off again over here acting a fool, then gone through the email when we agreed that she wasn't gonna do that. Ain't find nothing, but she turned it into something. And that type of frustration, that frustration is staggering. It is staggering. It really hurts the relationship. Nah, he's not cheating. He ain't cheating. Because if he was cheating, he would not be sitting over here putting all this effort into trying to get home to her. Damn near crashed the car and all this other stuff, texting and driving on his way back to his wife so that she can argue with him for over an hour, so that she can call this woman so that this woman can put her in her place about being disrespectful to her husband. Now, how the other woman that she called is telling her, now this is society letting her know that she fucking up. To let her know that that is inappropriate for you to be calling another woman and checking them about telling him hi. Real talk.
My
Who she?
boyfriend, who's 40, and I am 30, have a small issue. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 2 years. We live separately but will be moving in together soon. He recently left his phone at home when he went to work. I went to his photos to see what he had taken recently and
See, we got another woman fucking up. He left his phone at home when he went to work. Now he forgot his phone. Instead of you being a good woman, a keeper would have gotten the other car and brought the phone to his job and said, "Baby, you forgot your phone." Would not have gone through it or nothing. But this man left his phone at the house, forgot it, left it with she. Either she got the password or he leave his phone unlocked, so he ain't got nothing to hide. And she snooping. Let's see how the snooper turned out for her. Didn't turn out well for the other woman.
possibly spam his album. There was a video that he took at work from under a table, directed under the skirt of one of his clients. I am not sure what to do or even how to bring it up.
Mm.
What would you all do in this situation? I know it sounds stupid, but I've never dealt with a situation like this before. Thanks for the advice and please be gentle and kind, Purple Heart.
I ain't got no remorse for you, ma'am. You not supposed. So he was apparently got a photo under the skirt of some chicks, whatever. Again, wow, that's not appropriate for a man to do, for anybody to do, really. The fact is that you're obtaining that knowledge without a warrant puts you in the wrong here. You are not supposed to know about that, and because you're not supposed to know about that, transparency requires no resentment, no judgment, no retaliation. Therefore, since you made it a point to dig into the past, to dig into his personal records, to dig into his personal information, whatever you find. Now, this goes both ways, ladies. So if a man go through your phone, your emails, your Snapchat, your Instagram, your OnlyFans account, and find some stuff that he don't like, that full transparency that you forced on your partner comes with no judgment, no resentment, and no retaliation. So, you found a video of somebody else's underpants on his phone. Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing. But because you know that that's the kind of stuff that's on his phone, don't go back on his phone and look for nothing else. Even if he tell you to go to his phone, you say nope, that's okay, and bring the phone to him and let him do it himself. Because what you don't know could prevent you from destroying your own relationship. But because you know that this photo exists, because this is the thing, you don't know who took the photo. You know the photo is on his phone. So somebody else at his office could have took his phone and took that photo. He could not know that that photo exists. And then you would be attacking him because that photo is on his phone. There is always a backstory to every action. And if he, because most people, once the contact gets on their phone, it's just data space. They're not going back and re-looking at the photos and rewatching the videos and reliving that moment. It is just data space. So it's there. If you go back far enough, you'll find it. But it is a distant memory and it is just data space. Now, you could be petty and delete it and see if he say something about it. And if he don't say nothing about it because he don't know nothing about it, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, it really wasn't nothing. But if he say something about it because that was something that he had for a specific reason, and you went in there and you invaded his privacy, and then you started deleting things off of his phone without his knowledge or consent, you are violating his privacy. Now, a lot of women would be, oh, he can't do that. He can't do that. If he was up there delete stuff off of your phone without your consent. But this is the thing. Michael says the average length of a 16 is around 6 months. At 18, around a year. Yep. And between 25 and 30, it's about a year and a half. 1 year, 5 months, 6 days. That's what we got going on right now. Let's tiptoe into the next one.
I'm starting to suspect my girlfriend who is 19 might secretly be homeless and hiding it from me. What's the best way to bring this up? So, we've been dating for a little over 2 months. It's gotten pretty serious. We see each other like 5 to 6 times a week. She refuses to tell me where she lives. Even what general direction from my place. She is always out. Literally always at some cafe, or something, besides allegedly being home from 3 a.m. when the last one closes to 9ish. She's talked about knowing plenty of good spots to take naps outside in the sun. She carries a full heavy backpack around. It seems to have way more than just one change of clothes, looks about full enough for a week-long trip or something. She recently took a trip to grab some stuff out of storage in the city she used to live in. She was running late on the way back and asked to keep the 5 to 6 bags at mine for the night cause her storage locker was closed. It was never clear to me why she couldn't just store them at her place. I'm not sure on this, but it doesn't seem like her mom, who she lives with / spends all her time with, works. And my GF's job doesn't pay enough for housing. Despite loving cooking and being broke, she only ever eats out unless I let her cook at my place or cook with her. I don't know how to bring it up. She's probably afraid I'd leave her if I knew, which is not the case at all. I want to help her, but this doesn't mean I'd necessarily let her move in immediately.
Good point. Michael says a relationship can depend on the maturity, the maturity of each of the person, the compatibility, communication skills, and family support. A lot of the Western culture does not have much family support. Um, Especially if you move to a different city or state and you no longer live near your family. You might have one or three friends, so you don't really have a lot of support, which is true. However, the lack of communication, miscommunication, and assumptions typically hurts the relationship. He said they were her dead boyfriends in the bag. No, actually, he could be right. She could be homeless. Um, she could had not have enough money to pay for an apartment, got put out of the one that she was in her own old town, and now she's in a new town. And because that town is still within the same jurisdiction of the eviction, she can't get on a lease anywhere, and she's kind of bouncing around from place to place. Um, she could have a family member that she can crash on the couch of every now and again, but not necessarily be there on a regular basis. As a result, she's got to basically live out of a storage unit. There are plenty of Americans that have full time jobs that live out of a storage unit, live out of the trunk of their car, live out of the back seat of their hatchbacks. There's plenty of Americans that do that, live a full life. They go out to the clubs, they hang out, they go to work, they have bank accounts, they put their money away, but they can't afford or they don't qualify to have an apartment or a house that they can rent. They got some that make a bunch of money and they live out of hotels and they don't tell you where they live because they do not have a traditional standard of living and they are embarrassed about that traditional standard of living and they do not want you to change the way you think about them or talk to other people about their condition. They also don't want you to have pity on them and start doing extra unnecessary stuff to help them because of the situation that they're in. They got this. They're trying to pull themselves out of a bad spot. They found you along the way and they want to maintain a relationship with you, but they also don't want you to change how you treat them once you find out that they're homeless. So for me, if she's asking you to carry a bunch of bags because she could not put it in her storage unit, hold on to the bags. She's not asking you to stay at her house or asking you for her to stay at your house. So don't worry about it. Um, if she's got a place to crash at night where she's safe, as long as she can say that she's safe to some degree, let her stay there. Most are called homeless. But truth be told, at 19, if she's not staying at her mom and them or on a college campus, she's staying with an ex-boyfriend. She's staying with a male best friend. She might be staying with a homegirl until your standard of living has been stabilized, especially if she's making less money than what it costs to live on your own. Typically, you're going to be homeless. male or female, but the females have more options than males because a guy can stay by his homeboy's house, but a guy is not going to be able to stay by his ex's house, his ex girlfriend's house. That's not going to happen. She's got a new boyfriend. Then you also have, he said, and live under the bridge. They got it. Yeah, you leave them under the bridge. If she live under the overpass, bro, and I took her home, and she's like, "Oh, I stay right here, up under the bridge, bro." I would stop at the under the bridge part, open the door, let her out, and drive off. I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time. You stay under the overpass. That's your cardboard box underneath the other cardboard box. That's how you use the blanket with the little hut. Hey, my high five. At least you don't got to get the backdraft from the wind. I'm not saying squat. That also lets me know though, if I get that collect call from county where your ass got picked up off a trespass, that I might need to come and bail your ass out because that's your situation. But if you believe that your spouse is homeless, is that going to change how you feel about them? You should not rush the relationship and move them into your house just because of their deprived standard of living. You need to get to know this person. You need to be able to build trust with this person. You need to be able to establish a foundation with this person before you move them into your house. You're going to have some terms and conditions before you move them into your house. Your non-negotiable expectations for behavior. Because if y'all don't work out, y'all breaking up, and this person should still be homeless when y'all break up. So there's no reason for you to care. But a woman can be homeless and still find a man. A woman can be homeless and unemployed and still find a husband. A man, on the other hand, cannot benefit from that. Let's check on the next comment.
I'm 16 and I've been dating this guy for almost 8 months. He's always been incredibly sweet to me and I really
Wait. Okay, so where is your parents? This man said cardboard for every American. You get cardboard boxes for free, bro. But where is her parents? She's 16 and she dating folks. Ah, hold on.
love
Let's see what
him.
happened.
But he hit me last night and I don't know what to do. We were just arguing because he didn't like the way I did my makeup and he said it was too flashy. And I told him my best friend liked it. And
Pause. All right. She's learning at 16 respect. Now, before women start getting mad at me, I'm about to tell you what's going on. You got to have respect for yourself first, but you also are supposed to carry yourself with a certain level of respect for your relationship. If your partner is, because let's break it down this way. When you're single, you dress a certain way, you put on a certain quantity of makeup, whether you do it to look cute, insecurities, you're trying to hide those blemishes, pimples, freckles, whatever's going on, and you put on the makeup. Sometimes, especially when you first start out, you put on way too much makeup. It completely looks artificial. We can tell where the makeup start at the bottom of your cheek, right there by your neck, and how your whole face either looks like a porcelain china doll or Krusty the Clown. And we be sitting here looking at like if it does kind of pass a little bit. We try not to say too much. But if you've got too much of an unnatural rosy red cheek thing going on, you got too much of a pale face thing going on, you got too much of a chocolate brown brush over kind of thing, and it just doesn't look natural, we gonna say something. And we're gonna say something specifically because we care about you, we care about how you look. And while people do not tell women when they look bad when their makeup is off, the fact is you are supposed to be able to ask her boyfriend or her husband, you are supposed to be able to tell her that she don't look the way she wants to look in this particular situation. He said that's not respect, that's control. Well, no. Actually, that was an unnecessary level of violence, and I'm going to touch point on that. The respect is that she's supposed to respect herself and not let nobody put their hands on her. So if he hit her, the relationship is over. So no matter how much she loves him, the relationship is dead. That part is the respect that she learned. Respect for yourself. If your partner gets mad for any reason They are supposed to walk away from you before they decide to put their hands on you, and then go outside, smoke a cigarette, smoke a blunt, drink a 40, something. Calm down. When you come back inside, we can talk about this like grown folks. They're not supposed to put their hands on you. So because this man hit you, the relationship is gone. That's it. But respect for your partner is that when your partner tells you that um, they are not approving of the way you're carrying your makeup right now. When that happens, you are supposed to have enough respect for your partner to negotiate that. I know women's autonomy, oh, it's my body, I can do whatever I want to it. No, you represent your relationship, which means you also represent your partner. And you are not supposed to over accessorize and overemphasize yourself in a negative fashion, because that brings negative light to your relationship and that brings negative light to your partner. Women aren't going to want their boyfriends out there with their shirt off in the street with other women. Women not going to want their man out there with his junk out. At the end of the day, you are supposed to be able to carry yourself with a level of self-respect. And if he's telling you that the makeup that you're doing is too much, it's too much. So if you if you wanted to wear it, your defense is not that your friend likes it, because you're not dating your friend, you're dating your man. So if he say that he don't like it and you're doing too much, then you're doing too much, and you should respect him and take some of that makeup off, or find an equal medium as to how much makeup is he okay with seeing on her when they're doing stuff together. Now she can do whatever she wants when she by herself, but mutual respect is that she should be able to find out what he is accepting of, not just argue with the fact that he says something about it. Because as she gets older, he said slapping her is not respect. No, slapping her is not respect. But her letting him slap her is also not respecting herself. So she did, because if she stay in that relationship is going to get worse. But if she's not learning how to communicate with her partner is voicing their discomforts in the relationship, and she's ignoring it. That's not healthy for her relationship, and that's not showing mutual respect for her partner. But she's learning respect in the wrong way. But she's learning it at 16 in this relationship. Like you say, where's the mother? Not where your mama at, where your daddy at. Because a man should be teaching her how to carry. Look, sweetheart, I know your friends say that you look cute, but that is too much makeup. You need to take some of that off. Try to be a little bit more natural. Use a little bit less shading. I mean, it's the truth. So yes, my response would be to dump the guy. But oh, but I love him. We gonna get to that part. You know the women always do that. They always do that. Oh, but I love him. Men do it too. They be in an abusive relationship, like the relationship that we started the show with, and a dude will stay in that relationship no matter what, and that is not healthy. It is not healthy on either side. There are no excuses for that. Once the relationship starts becoming abusive, you gotta pull out. You gotta walk away from it.
He slapped me. I don't know what to do, because I really love him. But at the same time I know I can't be with someone who hits me. My mom's boyfriend used to hit her in front of me, and I know it only
Hmm.
gets worse with time, but I feel like he could stop. He
Nope, nope, nope. She talking about some. Um, she feel like he could stop. You're dating the same kind of guy that you're used to seeing in your relationship with the adults in your family. Your mama dated a man that used to hit on her. You dated a guy with the characteristics that slap the taste out your mouth. That is not going to end well. You pick the exact same model of a man that you watched growing up, and that man does not treat women good. So the man that you found that resembles a man that you should not be with, you should not be staying with him. It ain't no maybe he can do better. I got here. Yeah, she learning. Hey, yeah, she's gonna end up being one of those feminist model women that is gonna hate men, and all men are dirtbags, and all men are cheaters, and all men are abusive, and all men are worthless. And she's gonna turn into one of those women that would prefer to be in the woods with a bear than to be with a man that will protect her from the dangers in life, because she grew up choosing the wrong men. So yeah, she's learning hate. He said, "Go to sleep. Remember to keep one eye open." She only got one eye left because he done hit her in the other eye. What you mean?
Apologized last night and came to my house, but my
Oh
stepbrother made
Lord,
him leave.
there we go. At least there's one man stepping up in this situation because she over here talking about something. He apologized. I don't give a fuck. You can apologize on social media. You can write a letter of apology and give it to the police and turn yourself in. That is not going to change my position about you. Once you hit that little girl, you were done. And the fact that they didn't report you because that's assault, and he could be in jail for that. And depending on his age, she's 16. That's assault on a minor. That's a whole different kind of charge. You got to think about that. He
I
could be
just
sitting
don't
in there
know
for
what to
10 to
do
12.
and how to break
I
up with
know.
him if I decide to.
You is not supposed to be trying to decide. The relationship is already over, and your stepbrother is not letting them come around. So you need to listen to your stepbrother and don't talk to that dude no more. Don't answer no phone calls, no emails, no text messages. Don't reach out to him. Don't socialize with him in the street. If y'all in the same school, don't sit next to him in class. Don't let him come next to you at the recess at the cafeteria. If he keep trying to talk to you, you go tell the teacher. Tell the teacher keep him away from you, and you put a stop to it. That's how you do that. You don't give him a second chance. He's not going to make it up to you because if you get back with him and he's hit you the first time, he gonna hit you harder the second time. He's gonna go from hitting you in the privacy of the two of y'all to beating you up in the street. It's gradual progression. The first time he hit you, the relationship was dead. But what caused you to get hit, that combative behavior, that needs to change too. Two wrongs don't make a right. While he was not right for striking you down for not communicating appropriately with him, you should not have been challenging him telling you what he was concerned about with what your friend prefers because your friend is not the man you date. The man you dating is the man you dating, and if that man say that he disapproved, you should be trying to negotiate the disapproval based on what you would prefer to do for yourself, based off what you like and what you want, not what the hell your friend wants. Because your friend might want to dress like an OnlyFans girl, and he might want you to dress like you got respect for yourself. Just because your friend like it don't mean nothing. And God forbid that the friend that's liking the way you look is a male friend. That's even worse. Because why is you gonna justify how you look to impress another man when the man that you dating don't want you to look like that? That is what I'm talking about with learning respect. Because truth be told, while there are some women that dress men from the ground up, there are those women that do get in there and dress men from the ground up. If you tell your man you don't like his outfit, if you tell him you don't like his shirt, you don't like whatever boxers he wears, you don't like his shoes, you don't like the way he coordinates his colors, whatever the case may be, he will change for you. He might not throw the shirt away, but he might not wear it when with you. He might not wear it out. He might wear it underneath something else to appease you. But the fact is that if you say as a woman that you don't like certain things, a man will change. Now, when a man say he don't like certain things, a woman will defend why the man's opinion doesn't matter, and that's not supposed to happen. If you expect to voice your opinion to your partner and you want your partner to respect that and take action in favor of your request, you should change your mentality as a woman to do the exact same thing. Your man say he don't like something, that dress too short, that skirt too tight, that top is too low, change it. Because if you came back and you told him that you didn't like the outfit that he had on, he gonna change it. Next one. Let's go ahead to the next one.
I had suspicions that my ex was cheating on me. There have been numerous instances where something has clicked, and I went, oh, that's what he was up to. For example, he traveled to X city for a concert by himself once, which seemed off to me. Lo and behold, his new GF is from X city. Whenever I have these revelations where I put two and two together, it feels like my heart breaks all over again. He
Mm,
recently contacted me and asked if he could see me. I know he's in a relationship now because his GF posts photos of him nonstop. I feel compelled to reach out to her and tell her about his message to me. At the same time, I've been suffering from this heartbreak for nearly a year now, and I desperately want to put this all behind me. However, even though I've gone no contact for months and months, it doesn't seem to get better anyways. It's also heartbreaking that he texted me while in a relationship, because it gives insight into what he was likely doing behind my back while we were together. It's a huge slap in the face to both me and his current GF. Should I A. Send him a message. Ask if there's any reason I shouldn't contact his GF and explain to her that he's trying to cheat on her? B. Send her a message. Jump straight to the current GF and say, I just wanted to let you know something I recently became aware of. Dude reached out to me earlier this month wanting to see me. I'm not trying to interfere, but I thought you might want to know. C. Do nothing. Let this man continue to abuse and cheat on women and protect my peace, which is a fancy way of saying continue to be sad and depressed.
All right. First off, yes, Michael, they be putting on that war paint, boy, but they be in a fight with themselves though. They be in a fight with themselves. They ain't out there with the other stuff. Either we travel to Vietnam, no virgins left. That's what we, that's what we gonna have to do. That's what we gonna have to do. Now look, so this chick, this is again, two wrongs don't make a right. Now she was dating this dude. They broke up, and she put two and two together that he was dating somebody else, and uh, in the new place that he went to, and everything to that effect. So once he did that, she was supposed to block all communication from him. Now, he reached out to her because she has all lines of communication open with him, just in case he reaches out. She over here wallowing in her own self pity for a year, not letting go. She's contemplating getting revenge on this man because that's what that is. That's contemplating getting revenge on this man. He reaching out to meet up with her, not really being specific about what for, whether they a hookup, or if he's going to apologize for the way he treated her, or if he's going to apologize for the decisions that he made in the past, or if he's going to tell her that things are great and check up on her and see if she's okay. Because with her stalking his social media posts about how things are going good in his life, her social media posts might actually show that she's still sad and depressed, and he might be concerned about her and trying to make sure that she don't go and take her own life because she's wallowing in self-pity about the breakup. You don't know why he's reaching out to her. What you know is that he reached out, but she should have blocked all communication, but she didn't. So, one, don't threaten him that you're going to tell his girl. If you don't want to communicate with him, block his communication on social media and on your personal contacts, and don't communicate with him no more. Two, don't go straight to his girlfriend and destroy his new relationship just because he reached out to you for a meeting, not for a hookup, not for a one night stand, whatever the case may be. Don't worry about it. Because if a woman would have contacted you and told you that he had reached out to her for any reason, y'all would have fought, y'all would have broke up. So why would you destroy this woman's relationship? Because you're not protecting her from a problem. If this is his behavior is going to be his behavior with no matter who he's with. And it is not your responsibility to save the world of women from a man that you don't like. Look, as we said, don't tell nobody. That's what they out there over there clapping cheeks. So if they're not up there uh 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 trying to take positive action, just don't communicate with them. Right? Now, since it's not your responsibility to cap and save this woman, C is your best option. Block him, leave that man alone. Don't talk to that woman at all, and mind your own dang business. Instead of wallowing your own self pity and being depressed and hating life and all of this other stuff, find something to do. Proactive. You ain't got to get you a new boyfriend. You could just go start you up a new hobby, find yourself a second job, be proactive with your life. That is something different than wallowing over the fact that your boyfriend is happy now, allegedly. That's why he calling. Or the relationship he is in is not good. Take me back. That's the other thing that happens. Because while the girl can put up photos of when times is good, when times is not good, the boyfriend is regretting his decision, wanting to go back to the other girl. Both men and women do this. When they leave you unexpectedly for somebody else, and they thinking that the grass is always greener on the other side. And then when they get on the other side, they see that it's just as bad, if not worse, than what it was where they was originally. Then they want to go crawling back. So if he's not trying to hook up with you, if he's not trying to improve your emotional and mental state, he's coming to inform you that he made a bad choice with the woman that he got, and he want to come back to you, but he don't want to break up with her if he don't get confirmation that he can get back with you, because some people don't like to be alone. And even in that situation, you shouldn't be talking to the man. So if he's your ex, he should have been blocked from the day that he was your ex. So you should not be following his social media posts. So the fact that you follow his social media posts mean that you're still interested in him. And that's one of the reasons why. That take me back scenario. And she want to take him back. That's why she's still a year and a half later depressed about it. How you sad longer than the relationship been over. Damn. Start a new relationship. Yeah, get a dog. Get a dog. You can take a dog anywhere. Get you a cat, put it on a leash, take it on a walk. Find a new hobby. Go fishing. Be a gamer chick. Get that new GTA 6 when it come out, and just start trolling all the guys on the platform. Make you a Harley Quinn character and get out there and just start just griefing everybody. Like, find some other way to vent. Don't be sitting over there hounding that man. But that's some of the things that people do that lead them down a negative path. Now she's gonna cave because she still has feelings for him. She's gonna meet up with him one day. They're gonna talk. They're gonna hang out for a while. Then they're gonna end up at her place. They're gonna hook up. Then she's gonna regret being the other woman. All it takes is to respond to his communication, and now you're down a wrong path. And we got one more. Let's see what this one's about.
For how long is it okay to text multiple girls? I matched with some girls on dating apps and got their Snap and Insta, and I've been texting them for like a week, and I really want just one girl that I can build a relationship and love with, but I don't know which one. One girl is super pretty and nice, but one girl is okay but tells me she trusts me and we slept together, no sex. Others are fine too.
Okay, so this is one of the biggest problems that social media has developed with online dating. When you are communicating with multiple people online, you always have too many options, and you don't want to make the wrong choice. So you don't let go of all of the other individuals. You will juggle 5, 7, 10 communications, that basically juggle 5, 10, 12 relationships until the communication falls off and certain individuals start showing the ugly side early on in your communication. This puts you in a position to allow 5 or 7 or 10 relationships to maintain for a long period of time, and whoever's still left over, that's who you gets to keep, almost like musical chairs. Whoever's left standing, that gets to be the relationship. The truth is that the most appropriate way to do it, you said 9 months later, a baby, yeah, from no sex, just a tip. the the fact is that the woman that you're spending nights with, that should be the one that you should be staying with. She's not the super pretty girl. She's okay, but she's okay enough for you to be spending nights with her. That's the one that you should stop with. The other one that's super pretty, you're gonna always wish that you could have had her, but if she's not interested in commitment and you not spending nights by her house, the one that you progress the most relationship wise is the one that you spend the nights by. The other ones that are kind of y'all have like good conversation and stuff, and that's really how you choose which one that you're gonna give it a whirl with. But when you disconnect from the other females and you spend 5 or 6 months with this female, you can't go back and reach out to all the ones that you rejected. That's another thing that we do in our society right now is circle back. And that's a problem because if the person that was single when they was trying to get with you is still single when you circle back, you wasn't their first choice. They're always going to hold resentment. So even if y'all did get in the relationship, they're not the first choice. And fair enough, we can say that make sure y'all like and subscribe uh, and hit those notification buttons. You can say that because you're not the very first person they've ever dated in life, that you're technically not their first. But in this selection process of partners, you wasn't the first choice either. So you're not the first or the second choice. And from the time that you became single till the time that you get into your next relationship, if I was an active candidate and I was not chosen, you cannot fail that relationship and then circle back and try with me. If I was a candidate and you were in a relationship, you are now off limits for the rest of your life. Because even as a man, if you were a one night stand or friends with benefits, when you're not in a relationship, you are not girlfriend or wife material anymore because I was not your first choice when I was originally a candidate in your selection process. So if she or if he's sleeping with one chick, spending nights by one chick's house, see where that relationship goes. See where it goes. Now, another way that you can do this, like we've been saying, you can figure out what expectations that you want in a woman. That is going to be the job description. In that particular scenario, you want to find out from the women that you're talking to, are they interested in these kinds of things? Are they willing to perform these kinds of tasks? Now, people lie and they swear up and down all the time that they'll do so much for you and this, that, and the third, and you might have to put it to the test. Have them, you know, bring them over and see if they're going to clean and cook and everything to that effect. And whatever else that you need them to do, give them chores and errands to run and see if they're going to perform those chores and tasks without complaining about it. There's ways that you can test the situation to see if they're going to be worthy of what you're expecting them to perform. But once you have assessed the value of each individual person, that's when you choose. When you choose, that's when you tell everybody else that you're not spending nights with. I'm in a relationship with somebody. It was a pleasure communicating with you. You know, good luck on your future endeavors. Just like when you're applying for jobs and you have a bunch of interviews and then you go to a bunch of different interviews and they have second interviews, they have orientations, you have to choose which job you're going to commit to because you can only put 40 hours a week into two jobs at a time. But the one that's going to have the most attention from you, you got to choose which one that's going to be. Like I said, question: how many women were virgins when married? We're in 2025, bro. The odds of finding that is the odds of finding a unicorn at the end of a rainbow. So at this day and age, we're not likely to expect, especially when they're 20, 25, 28, to be virgins. We would be lucky for them to be 20, 25, 28 with less than one children, with less than one child. It usually they have two to four kids. So if they're one to two kids, he's at two. Today is back in the day it was 5%. Today it's less than 3% of the entire population of females. Whereas 165 million females and less than 3% are virgins when married. Come on now, that says a lot. So we're in a position where we can't expect them to be virgins. We can expect them to. We can hope that they have a low body count. We can't even expect that anymore. But if they don't have kids, we can appreciate that fact. So even if they're an OnlyFans girl with a lot of tread, a lot of traction, gone, but they don't got no kids, and they're willing to have kids, you've got a positive sector there. If you have a female that has a low body count, that's a diamond in the rough. A virgin, that's a diamond in the rough. But if she's got one or two kids from 2 years ago, or two kids from 4 years ago, If she's willing to have more and you're willing to take on another man's responsibilities, you're good to go. 1.6 for guys. Well, of course, guys are expected to have that track record starting as young as 14, 15, 16 years old. And body counts for guys are like you're talking about guys are probably once a month or more, once a week or more when they're in their teenage years, two, three times a week in their teenage years. So they could have a few hundred under their belt before they're 18. And women expect men to know what they're doing, you know? So in order for him to know what he's doing, he's got to have a lot of practice. um, so that's going to be a big difference. But again, how can you have years of experience in that if you have not been doing it for years? um, Men look for inexperience, and women don't believe that. Women believe that they should be overly experienced and be able to give him the best sex he's ever had. But ah, that's not that comes with a lot of trauma that men don't want to deal with. So again, the gentleman was asking, like, really, how do you find them? Like, or not how do you find them? How do you choose? You figure out between them which one has got your best interest at heart, and you stick with that one. You try not to fuck it up. But yeah, you're if you find one that's got one or two kids and it's been a few years ago that they had the kid and the relationship is gone, the child is out of diapers or something like that, see what happens. See what happens. Now, I believe that was the last comment that we had for the day. So we did a good job. Appreciate Michael watching the comments throughout the day and participating in the show. We're going to start by saying, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you, ladies, to make it make sense. So, ladies, please make it make sense. Fellas, take this information and use it to make you guys high value men. But, ladies, this information is not exclusive to the men. You can use the same information to apply to yourselves to make yourselves higher value women. Tomorrow, Monday, we're going to be talking about some of the changes that's going to be happening in our society with the unbanking scenario and the militarized police states. So stay tuned to that because we're going to be seeing how the money is going to impact us and how this is going to change our economy because they're going to be pulling a lot of reserves to do troops at home. So that's going to be a lot of work for us that we're going to have to make adaptations to. This is also going to be a cultural shift because we're starting to state by state become more and more militarized. That's going to change the way we act in public and be reacted to in public. So we're going to need to talk about that as well. Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday's going to be up coming soon. Wednesday's already up there, and Thursday through Saturday is already up for this week. So make sure that you guys hit that like and subscribe button on that as well. He said 4 to 7 for girls, 4 to 8 for guys, and that group age is 16 to 22. That's a good statistic. I'm gonna have to do some research on that, and really get the finite information as to what the average is. But typically, guys are out there wilding. He's like, "Can I go play chess now?" Yeah, you can go play chess. I'm actually about to step out myself and go and check my chess games. Playing hardball this time around to see how well my homie does. He might get crushed twice in a row this time around because of not pulling no punches this time. He won that one game. I gave it to him. This time it's like, every move counts. This is the exam after all this practice. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming to this and that. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night.
that's my personal command. I'm not mounted on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.